Hello and welcome to Game Week 4 Cartola FC. My name is Sean. Let's get into the week. Okay, so we'll start with the Game Week 3 recap. The biggest news of the week, Hulk, many people's captain. News came out on Friday. This picture came out. Look at his ankle. Look at his ankle. It's swollen up. Atletico Mineiro has a Copa Libertadores match, very important match, this coming Wednesday. You would figure that he wouldn't feature in the match. So myself, like many others, took him off my team. He was my captain. He did, in fact, play. Not only did he play, not only did he start, he scored two beautiful goals, 18.8 points for the week. Just a magnificent performance. Played the whole match. From the week, Fortaleza, very, very impressive at home to Fluminense. The final score was 4-2, and this could have been 8-2. So many chances for Fortaleza on the counter. They only had 30% possession, but every time you looked up, they had a massive chance to score, and they did score for Moises. Two great goals for him, a brace on the Fabio for Fluminense. 13 saves on the match. Some of them were spectacular. This could have been 8. This could have been 10, but it was 4. Fortaleza is a team that we kind of looked past, but I don't think we should ignore them much longer. They have at least 2 goals scored in 12 of their last 13 matches. That includes their state championship. That includes cup matches as well. At least 2 goals in 12 of their last 13. The only game that they didn't score 2 was 1-1, the season opener against Inter, and they only scored 1 goal, but they had 24 shots. Just insane decision here. You can see the picture. The video is even worse. Diego Maia, just frustration. I don't know what happened. He goes to kick the ball. The ball is still in play, right on the line. Ball is still in play. Diego Maia goes to try and kick the ball as hard as he can into his own fans. Sure enough, the Botafogo player gets there first. Diego Maia kicks the guy's shin as hard as he can. Ball is not even close. Kicks the guy's shin as hard as he can. Very, very dangerous play. It's a potential leg-breaking play. The ref, and we have VAR. The ref goes to check the monitor. Doesn't give the red. Doesn't give the red for this. 9 people, maybe 99 out of 100 people give this a red card. She does not. Thiago Maia actually came off injured and came out the worst of this, but it is just a disgusting decision. Flamengo still a man up on Botafogo, and the ref already gave a red card this half. 2 red cards to Botafogo this half. Doesn't send off the player here. It's just a disgusting decision. For a neutral, it was disgusting to watch. Just injustice, really. But after that, you would still think Flamengo is going to come back. They do score. 12 minutes stoppage time. They do not get the tying goal. Botafogo, huge win for them. Flamengo, devastating loss. They've been out of sorts recently. They're still a team that we need to target. They had massive chances. Gabby, 3 big chances missed. Pedro, my captain, he missed a big chance as well. But on another day, Flamengo scores 5 goals this match. Everton Ribeiro, in one half, he got an assist. And then 5 big chances created. So could have had a massive haul, and I like him as a pick this week. Roger Geddes, goes for an Olympico goal down to Palmeiras, gets the goal off a deflection from the defender, who I also had in my team, gets credited as an own goal. I think it was an own goal. Roger Geddes not happy about that decision, goes to the officials, the scorekeepers who decide these types of things. Very, very angry. He was not credited for that goal. And it's a consolation goal. You lost 2-1. Okay, so let's take a look at how my team did. And it was a very, very disappointing week for me. As you can see, those two Flamengo attackers, I think that was the right call, but they didn't come off. I had triple Palmeiras defense. They conceded that late goal, that Geddes controversial goal. And Piqueras got credited for the own goal, so he was a negative. On another day, that doesn't happen. Palmeiras, they did not concede many good chances to Corinthians, and I think it was a deserved clean sheet, but it didn't happen. That one little goal cost me 20 points, and it was a disappointing week for many people. You can see I was right at the average, 43 points. I lost some money, but that still should not be a problem. Very disappointing week, but I'm happy with my picks. Like I said, on another day, I get a massive score this week. Let's take a look at the XG tables. Fortaleza, with that huge performance, puts them at the top spot. They are a team to target. Maybe not this week. The valuation this week is basically it's based off of the previous week performance. So if players got a good score last week, then they have a minimum points to value that's higher. If they had a bad week last week, points wise, and then their minimum points to value will be lower. So you kind of do want to target those that got unlucky last week, like a Pedro, like Palmeiras defenders, and so on. So Fortaleza players who, like Moises, who came off with a huge score, they are going to have a higher points to value, so higher risk to lose you money this week. For the defensive side of the ball, surprisingly, Goiás, number one spot, only 0.73 XGC per 90. That is very impressive. You can see Fluminense, they got torn up. They are at the bottom. American Mineiro and Botafogo, surprisingly, at the 18th spot. All right, so week 3 matches. We have Cruzeiro and Santos kick us off. We will know that lineup. Not too thrilled about picks from those two teams. Palmeiras is the biggest favorite of the week, even though they're on the road to Goiás. We did see Goiás defensive stats looking good, so that should be interesting. However, Goiás on the offensive side is not that great, so I do like a Palmeiras. Last week, Palmeiras, I went for the Palmeiras triple up on the defense. I might do the same this week. I did get unlucky with that. Flamengo also favorited on the road. American Mineiro favorites, as well as Bahia and Fluminense. And Corinthians, pretty big favorites against Fortaleza. I don't know if I agree with that or would target any of those players. All right, so my attacking tiers, the only reason I don't have Hulk in the A tier is because his minimum points to value is really high since he braced last week. Well, I do like Paulinho. He's pretty cheap. Should be a good player to gain you money, as well as Cano since he didn't start last week. He is a good pick as well for Fluminense. They have a home match. And then Pedro probably will be my captain. For the midfielders, Everton Ribeiro, as I mentioned, had a massive game as far as chances created last week. I do like him. John Arias for Fluminense is a nice pick. Bruninho and Fernandes for Bragantino. They are on the road to Grêmio, but decent players. If you wanted to go for more of an attacking pick, I like Bruninho. Fernandes should get a lot of tackles this week, so that's why I like him. compared to Arias and Ribeiro to kind of have that balance of offensive and kind of a defensive pick. So before we take a look at the defensive players, here are the clean sheet odds for Game Week 4. Palmeiras at the top, even though they're on the road, and Fluminense in America as well, even though their defensive stats are not great so far this season. So for my center back picks, I might double up on Palmeiras again, Murillo and Gomez. Great picks this week. Murillo does have a higher points to value since he did score last week. Gomez is an absolute lock in my team. If you wanted to go elsewhere, Beraldo for Sao Paulo, decent player, great price. Fabricio Bruno for Flamengo is also a pretty good player almost every week. And Duarte for Bahia, if you fancy their clean sheet odds, I do like him. He's cheap as well. Fullbacks, Piqueras, unlucky last week, had the own goal, had the late goal conceded. But that does make him a great pick this week. Should be a lock in everyone's team as long as he starts. Makey and Rocha, I'm not sure who's going to start there. Might be worth putting them both in with Makey as a sub. Wesley, tremendous value for Flamengo. $6. That's great value. Ayrton Lucas, is very expensive, but also has tremendous upside. Rubens from Mineiro should be a solid pick. Alexander, even though Fluminense got torn up last week, I do like him as a pick. He is kind of out of position, could get an attacking return. And Bruno Pacheco for Fortaleza, nice pick. I do want some Fortaleza players in my team since they are playing the best football in the league. Decent player, decent price. Okay, so goalkeeper's a bit interesting. Perry had an enormous amount of saves against Flamengo. Felipe Caviccioli and Lucao. Lucao hasn't come off, but he's an amazing price. All these players, pretty good picks. And then for managers, if you didn't want to spend some money, Ferreira for Palmeiras is an amazing pick. On the cheaper side, we have Paiva and Mancini for Bahia and America Mineiro, respectively. Those guys are cheaper. They have great matchups this week at home. I don't mind those picks. Okay, here is my team so far this week, subject to change as well, as there is Libertadores matches this week. Could change things as far as players getting injured, players we expect to start, and so on. But right now I have Pedro Captain, Paulinho, and German Cano. I have doubled up on the Fluminense attack with John Arias in the midfield, Everton Ribeiro, and right now I have Mateus Fernandez. I could go Bruninho there in that spot. I do have triple Palmeiras defense again, so close to working out last week. They do have the highest clean sheet odds. And Piqueras and Gomez, I think, should be in everyone's teams. Wesley, great value for Flamengo. Could go Pacheco there, subject to change. I have the goalkeeper hack. Mancini is my coach, the American Mineiro coach, and goalkeeper hack with Felipe from Bahia on the bench. So, decent team. Subject to change. I do have triple Palmeiras defense, triple Flamengo as well. I do want a piece of that Atlético Mineiro attack against Botafogo. I do think that is a good target or a good match to target. Botafogo, top of the table, but I think they've gotten a bit lucky so far. And I believe they've conceded the most shots on goal so far. So I do like either Hulk or Paulinho in that spot. So that's my team. Give me a like, and good luck this week.